why did you do the film on the Golden Dawns?
I had a strong interest in Golden Dawn since I was 15 years old. When I was an adolescent, I was meeting kind of small squads of them wearing even swastikas here in the arm in the streets of Kypseli area in Athens. Then I left for England. I studied there anthropology and cinema, and when I had to do my film to graduate, it happened that it was April, May 2012. It was the pre-election period and it was a unique time for me to make a film like that.
They considered their discourse or their approach to be, what, Greek nationalist?
They repeat all the time that they have the right to be self-defined. So they say we are Greek nationalists, we are not Nazi, we are not fascists. But they speak, they behave, all their manners and their discourse is Nazi.
Is that what the Greeks like about them, is that they are nationalists?
I think there is a part of the Greek population that were always pro-nationalist, even in kind of the socialist part, I would say. But now, with this crisis, desperate people would vote easier for them.
So what is so radically nationalist about them?
I believe what makes them unique, even to far-right, compared to far-right movements in Europe, like Le Pen in France, is that they really believe in Nazi ideology. You can easily prove that. If you go to their official site and read some Greek about their ideology, some of the Greek are translations from German. For example, the best example is they use the term Volksgemeinschaft, which is the community of the people. The community of the people is a historical term not used in Greek. They translate from German. And lots of other examples like that.
But that's not exactly what they're selling the Greek electorate or the Greek public, right?
No, to the Greek public, what they sell is that a kind of nationalist, let's say, collection of ideas. Such as, for example, that we are the only party that is going to save you from the bankers that are normally Jewish and they're normally based in New York. Okay. That they want to send away all the immigrants that are partially or sometimes more responsible for what happens here.
So very anti-immigrant?
They are very anti-immigrant, yeah.
And that strikes a certain nerve with those who are probably unemployed, desperate?
Yeah, unemployed or live in areas where there is a very high immigrant ratio. So that's what they do, for example, in St. Panteleimons, where the film was filmed, is that they try to turn the Greeks against these immigrants there and blame them for every problem and find scapegoats.
So do they think of themselves as an extension to the Aryan race? Is that how they feel about
it?
Yes,
they have an ideological problem, fundamental problem, because they believe in the Aryan race because they believe in Nazi ideology, but I'm not sure how they can connect the Aryan race theory with the Greek ethnic groups. So there is kind of gap.
Greeks are not exactly Germanic.
I don't think so, no. Yeah.
And how they resolve the complexity of that they're Aryans and so on and so forth, while too many Greeks blame the Germans and too many Germans blame the Greeks for their...
I think they are themselves confused about that. So when this confusion is kind of reinforced by the media, like they always do with something they don't like, they tend to not comment on that. If something becomes difficult, if something is against them, or if something is just very confusing to explain, they leave it aside.
So when a German minister or a German official refers to the Greeks as lazy, how would they feel about that?
I don't know, maybe they would find an argument to blame the Germans for something, but not blame them too much, because there is a sense of brotherhood with the German nation.
So they feel that they're Germans, but the Greeks also blame the Germans for their troubles. And the Germans seem to blame the Greeks for their own problems. So how does that work out?
I think they would try, what they're doing is that they're trying to blame the German banks mostly, and not so much the German people. And of course they never forget to pinpoint that behind the German banks and all the banks are the Jewish people. So they have a very good Nazi argument to shape it as they want.
But their message to the members is what specifically? What are they against, what are they for?
Their main message to Greek society is that they say we have the right to be self-defined as Greek nationalists. But for a smaller group of members, they discuss the Nazi ideology. They say we have a different approach to what happened in the 30s, 40s, etc. Their spokesman in the parliament denied the Holocaust before 2-3 months. So there is a smaller core of the party that knows exactly and is very well.
What's their style like? What are their methods? How do they behave in public arena?
Officially, they say they condemn violence officially, but it's very well known. It has happened to me also during filming that it's very obvious that they would use violence, especially we have a lot of incidents that happened in areas of Athens where immigrants are, where there is a big population of immigrants. It's difficult to prove that immigrants were attacked by Golden Dawn, but in many cases it is proven.
And what do you think attracts the Greek about them?
I think they, like also the Nazis did in the 30s, they offer a lot of spectacle. For example, before the arrests we had lately, they were going out in the streets with black-grey uniforms. There were some of their local branches, they were appearing as old squads, like the SA in Germany. Also, they make some, they organize some unique events, for example, for the Battle of 300 in Thermopylae area. So they kind of support all this Greek nationalist heroism, all this feeling.
They got 7% of the vote. That's pretty high.
Almost 7, yeah.
And that's explained from your own eyewitness observation. That's explained how?
It's, from one point of view, you can say very easily what the media repeats every day. It's desperation, you know, crisis, which is true. We have a very deep financial crisis, huge amounts of unemployed people. But the media do not go deep into the story of Greek nationalism. We start far back. I mean, we had the military regime 40 years before. There are still people that like it, that support it. We had always nationalist people inside the biggest democratic or so parties.
So you think there's a salient nationalist, radicals, nationalist, almost racist sentiment within the Greek society that dates?
Yes, and this was capitalized by Golden Dawn.
And now that some of the leadership has been arrested?
Has been arrested recently.
What does that mean?
I'm not sure yet, it's too early. I don't know if they will, you know, they blame them now as a criminal organization. I don't know if finally these accusations will be enough in the court.
Do you think the backlash is going to add to their popularity or decrease it?
I think actually they're going to stay more or less the same. I mean, in terms of votes, I think they will lose a lot. But maybe you will see another 7% in the next elections, because there are still people, desperate people or nationalist people, who will perceive them as heroes.